Hi everyone, my name is Ifeoluwa, and today we're going to be looking at getting started as a developer. Quick setup guide, nothing too bulky, just something to make sure that you are getting on track and scaling 4 times faster. Look at it. Remember that we're trying to ensure that you get to learn very fast and efficiently, knowing the best practices, right? So let's look at, common programming languages and frameworks, libraries and frameworks. If you look at this, my screen, you'll see that, okay, you have PHP, Java, C++, Python, JavaScript, Rust, Golang. Those are all languages and they can be used for several stuffs depending on whatever you choose you want to use for. PHP can be used for web, Java can be used for web. Many banking systems live on Java, C++, Python. A lot of them, because of course, when you want a very solid software or architecture, you probably go for the big ones. And then you have JavaScript, which is like open source. You have Rust and you have Golang, which are pretty new, but of course very efficient as well. But doesn't deter your use. You can use them for anything. Then as well, you have Bootstrap. Bootstrap is a library, is a UI library or common library for web development. Of course, you have like the likes of jQuery as well, Tailwind, CSS, but those icons are not here though. And then you have Laravel. Laravel is a framework of PHP. When we talk about framework is just like okay, let me talk about library first. Library is like how do I put it? Something that helps you get started with a package somebody has built before or has used in a project and feels like, okay, this would help you get started faster on any project you're about to embark on instead of building from scratch, like writing your CSS, some things from scratch. You just implement Bootstrap or you integrate Bootstrap into your project. Laravel is also a framework. A framework is different from a library. Well, it's quite technical. For library, you just have maybe a UI library, like a JavaScript library, like that. But for framework is like a complete package on its own where you have UI somewhat in place. You also have the backend or logics, like the use case, business logics, all in place. It's just for you to put some codes together to ensure to do what you want to do. You understand? Like in Laravel, you have some things like eloquent models, which whatever. You get to understand as you delve into it more. Same with Node.js. Laravel is PHP framework, but Node.js is, once you hear JS, you know they are JavaScript frameworks. That's Node.js, mostly or commonly used for backend functionalities. You have React.js, which is almost a UI library as well, for also a JavaScript framework. You have Angular, you have Vue, you have Next.js. Next.js is like built on React, like so many things. It depends on what you're building. To be honest with you, it depends on what you're trying to achieve. You understand? And then we have Flutter. Flutter is a framework of that. That is also another language. Of course, the icon is not here. Flutter is for cross-platform development, like cross-platform for now you can do for web, mobile, desktop, if you learn Flutter. So of course we have React Native as well, which is also a mobile framework for JavaScript. We would get to see a lot other as we move on, as we learn more. Of course, tooling is also very important when it comes to programming or getting set up as a dev or working as a developer. Um, some things are like core technicalities. You have integrated development environment as an IDE. You have code editor. The common one we all use is the code editor. You hear VS Code, like that is Visual Studio Code. Sublime Text is also another code editor. Atom. These are just like advanced. They are not Microsoft Word offices though, but Office though, but they are advanced like code editors where you can have stuff like IntelliSense. IntelliSense means maybe you're trying to type div or you're trying to type HTML, trying to type a class, and then your software or your code editor is giving you suggestions as to, okay, is it this one you want to, and just maybe by pressing a tab or space or enter, it just auto fills it for you. And integrated development environment. For integrated development environment, it does the compilation as well. So for code editor, there's no compilation. It's just, of course, VS Code now has some advanced functionalities like hot reload and the likes. But IDE is very, very much robust. Like you have the NetBeans, PyCharm, all those things. They do the compiling as well. So when we talk about compiling, it's like you are building what you are like whatever code you're writing, you're also compiling it right from that editor. But for code editors, you are just saving and then maybe you go to your browser and refresh. Of course, some things like some other softwares like languages like Node and the likes, you don't have auto reload when you save it automatically refreshes the page and the likes. And then you have the it's supposed to be online. You have code editor online like codesandbox.io, phpsandbox.io. We're going to use this shortly. This is supposed to be online, pardon my error. We're going to get into this very shortly. So let's do some magic with codesandbox.io. So what I want us to do right now is, just like I promised, we are going to be scaling at 4 times speed. We would get to use more of those tools as we go on. So for this, right, we're going to build a portfolio website. I already made a sample here so that you can see. So it's just something very simple. You can see my name, what I do, or my role, and then my email. Very simple. Just very simple. And it's just with some HTML and then CSS. Nothing, no graphics or so much stuff there, just to center your div and you like. So what happens here, right? I'm going to use codesandbox.io, but you can use any editor you prefer. You can download Sublime Text or you can download Visual Studio Code. It's just to save it as index.html and then launch the file. So I'm going to use codesandbox. Like this is the code I used, but so as for us to learn, I'll just run through it as well here. So just a static HTML file. So I'm just going to drop my video briefly. Okay, so this is just a static HTML template. You can see there's no bundler or whatever. So I don't need all this. It looks like it's still loading. Okay, so in order to be very fast and efficient, I'm just going to run this. So first thing to do is I'm writing my name, H1. H in HTML is like header 1, header 2, header 3, up to 6. So you have header 1. So I just put follower F1 A. Then you close your tag. It's always very important to close your tag. Any tag you open, you close it. Then I'm going to use a lower one, a smaller font size. So I'm going to say H4. I am a software engineer. You see, it's already giving me a suggestion to close the tag. And then next is H6. That's what I used to write my email. So I'll just put email effects at xyz.com. So as I close the tag, says okay, H6. Just close the tag, sorry. So let's see what happens once I save. You see, my name is already there. So next thing, one thing I also did is to add an image. So you can use an image of your choice. But today we're going to just make it very easy so that we don't do too much work. The tag for image in HTML is img. So, and then you put a source, src. So for this source, right, I want us to use our Facebook account. So I'm closing the tag. For image, you just close directly. You don't need to add slash this again. You just close it directly with the opening tag. So I wanted to make it easy for us. So let's just use our Facebook image. You can just go to your Facebook account. When you go to your Facebook account, go to your profile. Go to your profile. When you get to your profile, you see this your image here. You can just click on the image and say see the picture. When you click on see the picture, it will open up the picture. The next thing to do is to right click and then copy image address. You are trying to get this image from Facebook websites. Just copy the image address. That's the source for our image. Yes, I'm going to put it here. I'm just going to paste it. Ctrl V. So if you paste the image, you see now the image then appears here. I'm using codesandbox.io, but if you're using your code editor like on your computer, like Sublime Text or VS Code, you just need to save this and then launch the file from like our first video. you can watch my first video to understand how to save HTML file and then launch it. So once you launch it, you'll see all this coming up. Ensure that you have internet because we are fetching this image from the internet. So what happens now, we have fetched all our resources. Do you understand? The image, the name, my role, and then my email. But something I want to change some things here just to make it look nicer. So next thing to do is, of course, your image, your page title is very important as well. So page title is Ifeoluwa's landing page. There are other things in HTML like your meta. Your meta are key, like keywords or like key informations that you need to pass into the page of your website. As we go, I will also expose us to some few things like the descriptions, the card. Like if you want to load your page, you know, when you open some websites and you probably send that link through WhatsApp, you see the image popping up and the likes. We'll get to that later, where you are adding like description, image, you're adding description of the website and the likes, keyword, SEO tags and the likes. So but for now, let's just have this as title. You can change it to whatever name you prefer, whatever title you prefer. And then next is, today we're not going to be doing so much with CSS. So I'm going to be doing CSS within my script. Of course, there are 3 different ways of putting CSS in your project. You can do inline, you can do external file, and then you can just embed it within the head. So you can see my head is started here and it's closed here. So I'm just going to put style in between and then close it as well. So with that, the next thing to do is I'm going to put, I want to perform a function where I want to change the whole font family of my page. So the first thing I'm going to do is HTML, and then just put HTML. HTML means like the whole script. HTML, sorry, that's supposed to be 1. HTML, and then just say font family. So I want Segel. I just put a Homa. This, you don't need to type it. You already see what you have there. Can you see that my font has changed? So next thing I'm to do now is I'm now going to start adding classes into my project. Sorry, I'm supposed to open this as a div and then close the div here before that. So now I'm going to center this div. So what I'm going to do is class center page. This is your class name. This is your class name. So what to do is just, you have to use the dot. When you are trying to style a tag, you don't put the dot. But when you are styling a class, you put dot before the class name. So center page, what I'm going to do now is I'm going to say text align center. So everything goes to center. And then also on this page, I don't want the line height. The line height between my name and the role is too much. So I'm just going to change line height to 10 px. Yes, so that's reduced a bit. And then next is for my image. So I'm going to do, you see I'm taking it in order of hierarchy, center page first, and I'm going to my image. So I'm going to say profile picture. So I'm going to give it a class. So I'm going to give it a class. Let's just put it here, class. So what I'm going to do now is the width of my image. I want it to be just 200 px, and then my height as well, 200 px. Of course, you can do height auto, it will automatically fit. Yeah, but I also want it to be round. I don't just want this kind of image, so I'm just going to say border radius. We call that border radius. We're going to put this into use as we go though, but for this we're just going to do 100%, means I want everything totally curved, right? 100%. You see my job is almost done. And then next is for this center page, I just want to bring it to the middle, and then what I'm just going to do next is vertical height. So I'm going to do margin top for this case. Margin top. So I'm going to do maybe like 30 vertical heights, VH. And then that happens. So we have this. So if I load this URL on another page, you're going to see what's going to happen. I'm supposed to load. So you can do that anytime. Very simple, very easy, no too much technicalities, and you can even put this up on GitHub. In my next video, I'm going to show us how to create GitHub account, and then you can just share this. Of course, at the moment, you can actually share this with anyone, and they can just see your landing page. So this is your first portfolio. I hope you enjoy this video and this tutorial. We're going to be scaling very fast, as I promised, and the code for this is also going to be provided beneath the video. You can find it there. If you are finding it difficult at any point, just refer to the code and practice. Share with your friends, like and subscribe. Thank you. See you later.